This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, a growing memorial. Mourners pay tribute to the 19-year-old woman who died at a Halifax Walmart. Green Shift. A massive vessel arrives in Sydney to power the push towards renewable energy. And how one small Nova Scotia publisher made its mark.
The winds were high and the rain was plentiful, especially in the eastern regions of Nova Scotia, but changes and cooler changes ahead. I have all the details coming up.
Good evening. There is a growing memorial outside a Halifax Walmart in honor of the young woman who died there this past weekend. The 19-year-old's body was found by her mother in the store where they both worked. The Walmart remains closed, but people are continuing to show their support. Gareth Hampshire reports, but a warning, viewers may find some of the details in this story upsetting.
People are bringing flowers, cards and candles to this memorial to pay their respects to the woman who died on Saturday and to support her family. Gersimron Kaur was an employee at Walmart. Her body was found in the industrial bakery oven of the store on Saturday by her mother, who was also working at the store that day. Her shocking death is being felt throughout the community. Andrew Snow and his roommates were among those to place flowers here today. They did not know her, but are doing this for her family.
I guess it's nice to see how many other people have decided to come down and pay their respects. We wanted to make sure that the family knew that the broader community of HRM was thinking about them and feels the need to pay their respects and grieve with them.
Police are investigating and say it's a complex file that involves several partner agencies and could take a significant amount of time. No update has been provided today. The Provincial Department of Labour, Skills and Immigration has confirmed a stop work order was issued for the bakery and one piece of equipment. Everyone dropping by is sending support to the woman's mum, whose pain has been called indescribable by the Maritime Sikh Society, who said the pair immigrated to Canada 2 years ago. One woman here today lost her son when he was 17 in a vehicle crash.
It's almost like you've got a knife put in your heart and it just keeps turning and it never leaves your mind. It just keeps going over and over and you miss your child every day.
Walmart employees are among those contributing to the memorial. Meanwhile, a fundraising drive to support the family has raised about $195,000. The store remains closed. Gareth Hampshire, CBC News, Halifax.
Premier Tim Houston appears poised to call a snap election this weekend. That's despite the fact his own government passed legislation adopting a fixed election date. A political scientist with Cape Breton University says the Progressive Conservatives have calculated that now is the best time to go to the polls.
Many Nova Scotians are ascribing their grievances, their concerns about cost of living, their concerns about the future to Justin Trudeau's leadership. And so what Tim Houston will do is try to tie the Nova Scotia Liberals in with all of that. But the short answer is political opportunism. That's why we're having an election now.
Urbaniak says the opposition parties might be able to capitalize on Houston's about-face. Well, 3 more provincial politicians have decided to sit out the next election. All of them are Liberals, and at least one says she'd have run again if Tim Houston wasn't calling a snap election. Jean Laroche has that story.
The woman who has represented the riding of Clayton Park for the past 7 years, Rafa Di Costanzo, says she was planning to run again in July of next year, but her health still isn't good enough for her to mount a campaign right now. She's still recovering from breast cancer. In fact, her last chemo treatment was about a year ago, and she says she just does not have the energy needed to go door to door for a month. She called her decision heartbreaking because she says she loves being an MLA. Her colleagues from Dartmouth, Tony Ince and Laura Lee Nichol, are also walking away from politics. Ince says it's in part because because of just how partisan and toxic debate has become at Province House. I was not able to speak to Nickel today, but in a release from the Liberal caucus, she too noted a growing culture of disrespect in the House, and that was also a factor in her decision. Although being a sitting MLA tends to give candidates a leg up in elections, the Liberals already have candidates lined up to run in Cole Harbour, which is Ince's constituency, and in Cole Harbour, Dartmouth, which is Nickel's riding. The party also has someone ready to carry its banner in Clayton Park. So now, all told, 5 Liberals are sitting out the next vote. There are also 5 PCs leaving provincial politics and 1 new Democrat. That's the former NDP leader, Gary Burrell. He is not reoffering. Jean Laroche, CBC News, Halifax.
And we've got Tina in for Ryan tonight, and boy, pretty windy around the province.
Absolutely. And the further east you were in the mainland into Cape Breton, that's where we saw the gustier winds. And it's all courtesy of an area of low pressure that's off the coastline, but it's dragging its heels, leaving, and it's still producing some scattered showers and even still some high winds. Again, mostly for the eastern mainland through to Cape Breton. Yarmouth, Shelburne, Digby, didn't see a whole lot in the way of winds, but we did get into a northerly wind here as well. So the temperatures tonight are definitely going to cool off. The remnants of the system continue to work its way off towards the east, and the clouds are starting to break from west to east. So overnight tonight, we should get rid of quite a bit of cloud cover, and the temperatures are going to drop off. Now, speaking of temperatures, we're holding on to the double digits. That's definitely not going to be the case overnight tonight. That cooler, drier air will clear out our skies. We'll still keep the chances for showers in the forecast, say for Antigonish, Pictou, maybe even the easternmost parts of Guysborough County into Cape Breton, but the winds will subside and the precipitation will subside. I think Saturday is a pretty good day. More cold air coming our way on Sunday, though. We'll talk more about that later.
All right, focus on Saturday, I guess. Thanks, Tina. Well, a large ship with a hefty crane is drawing attention in Cape Breton. It was docked in Sydney Harbour this week, where it is supporting a rapidly growing industry in the shift to green energy. Erin Potty has that story.
It's hard not to miss the Orion on the Sydney waterfront. The vessel is picking up parts from a new offshore wind marshalling yard. The Atlantic Canada Bulk Terminal operates the facility that once housed the Sydney steel plant. The federal and provincial governments are currently working on regulations that would create offshore wind farms for the first time on Canada's east coast. The bulk terminal operator in Sydney expects businesses supplying that industry will surge in the coming years.
It's the U.S. market that is really our clientele now, and there is a lot of interest. So we're very, I think we're going to see a lot of things in the near future happen.
After the Sydney steel plant closed, Moricott says the marshalling yard was used to import and export coal. It still ships fossil fuels, but in the transition to green energy, it's employing local workers who are learning new skills for a new industry.
Diversification. I think you hear that in all businesses. If you count on one type of industry, it can come and it can go, or it can ebb and flow. But so now we're seeing, cruise ships, but we're also seeing heavy industrial.
The Belgian vessel measures 2 football fields in length and can lift 5,000 metric tons. It's picking up giant steel tubes known as monopiles, destined for offshore wind projects in the U.S. The monopiles are driven into a seabed and wind turbines are mounted on top.
It's just unbelievable what the engineers are able to put together to put on that vessel. It's mind-boggling for just an average stevedore. Yeah.
As the former general manager of the Sydney Ports Corporation, Rowe says he's thrilled to see offshore wind cargo traffic in Sydney Harbour.
That's the best thing that's happened in my lifetime on the water, and I've been here a long time.
Erin Potty, CBC News, Sydney.
An historic undergarment factory in Truro will be redeveloped into housing. Stanfield's Limited will turn their brick buildings into hundreds of apartments alongside a new manufacturing facility. The project includes a new riverfront path, a business space, and a public plaza. Town Council approved it earlier this month. The designer says it has the chance to be an equal to the revitalized industrial sites like Toronto's popular Distillery District. Most of the development does lie in a floodplain beside a river.
No one wants to build something that's going to flood. So I think they're very aware. They've been dealing with our staff. They're looking at all the other avenues as far as doing everything they can to mitigate that, to make sure that, if these terrible climate situations continue to go, they're going to be as protected as possible. Something is going to go there. We want the best to go there that's possible.
Town staff say they're satisfied with the flood proofing being done, which includes infill on the riverbank. The development will be done in phases over the next decade. Students in Halifax organized a strike this afternoon to demand action on climate change. Students and members of the public gathered at Victoria Park with signs. The rally was put on by a group called School Strike for Climate Halifax. Organizers say intensified climate events such as the recent hurricanes in Florida, students are increasingly motivated to strike.
They're called natural disasters. They are natural, but this scale that we're seeing is not natural. It is caused by fossil fuels. And it is caused by the reckless corporate greed that we've seen. And it just makes me very angry and upset that we're still asking for this issue to be taken seriously.
We think the Coastal Protection Act is coherent climate policy. And we want Mr. Houston to stop clowning around and proclaim the Coastal Protection Act.
A demand at some of the strike had its implementation of the Coastal Protection Act, which was scrapped earlier this year, even though it passed with all-party support in 2019. Halifax's new urban forest management plan wants to bring more trees to lower-income communities. There are about 2.5 million trees in the Halifax Regional Municipality, but not every neighborhood gets to share on its benefits. Preston Mulligan has that story.
Having millions of trees in Halifax is a good thing, but urban forest managers say we need far more in lower-income neighborhoods. From above, it looks almost as if the city of Halifax was built under an existing forest.
We cut down most of the original forest on this peninsula, starting when Europeans arrived in 1749.
As Halifax grew and expanded outside the peninsula, millions of trees were planted. Over time, the canopy of trees showed some obvious gaps.
If you look at the peninsula, you'll see that the most abundant canopy is in better-to-do neighborhoods.
So the new urban forest management plan is looking at ways to fix that. If the new council approves it later this year, the plan is to plant 1,000 new trees each year.
But I see room for hundreds of new trees lining the walkways. It could be a splendid place to go and get shade in a hot summer's day.
Better trees that are stronger, native to Nova Scotia, and as the city's urban forestry manager Crispin Wood put it to CBC in an email, developed under a strong equity lens. Or, more simply put by Peter Dunker,
make trees accessible to everybody, not just the well-to-do.
In the south end, the canopy is thick, hundreds of sturdy elms that offer shade and protection from the sun. Areas like Uniacke Square, Albro Lake, Fairview and Clayton Park, as well as North and East Preston, are listed in the draft forestry plan as priorities. These areas may have trees, but they need more and stronger trees.
I really would like to see way more trees around playground structures all around town. Most of them have no trees, no shade whatsoever. So we have to lather the kids with sunblock so they can go out and play safely.
Getting 1,000 trees in the ground each year will cost about $1 million annually.
The cost now to put a tree like this in the streetscape here in Halifax is in the neighborhood of $900.
For one tree?
One tree.
A BC-based consulting firm is working on Halifax's urban forestry draft plan. It's expected to present that plan to council later this year. Preston Mulligan, CBC News, Halifax.
Researchers say they've made an environmental breakthrough in wastewater treatment. For the first time anywhere in the world, powerful LED light is being used to kill viruses and bacteria in a municipal sewer system. And it's all being led by a team at Dalhousie University in Halifax. The CBC's Brett Ruskin has more.
This new breakthrough has to do with the final step of the wastewater treatment process, when you use UV or ultraviolet light to disinfect the water, to zap any kind of viruses or bacteria that might be in that water before it's released out into the environment. And researchers at Dalhousie University have proven that you can use LEDs, light-emitting diodes, as the source of that UV light to, again, zap those microbes. Now, we heard from Ryan Snoddon. She is a researcher at Dalhousie University talking about how this process works.
There's a pipe, and on either side of the pipe, on the top, kind of like this, if the pipe's right here, on either side of the top, there's these two really big LED panels, and they're just full of LEDs, very densely packed LEDs that can emit a lot of power and a lot of light into that stream that's flowing, that wastewater stream that's flowing through that pipe.
So these LED panels are installed right now as we speak at the water treatment facility in Eastern Passage, Nova Scotia. That's a Halifax water facility that right now as we speak is treating Halifax's wastewater. This is the first time anywhere in the world that this type of deployment of LEDs has been used at a municipal level to treat wastewater in this way. How's it being done right now? Pretty much everywhere else in the world? Well, using mercury vapor tubes or mercury vapor lamps, basically big long light bulbs that you put inside the flow of the water, creates kind of a greenish glow. Does the same thing, zapping those viruses and bacteria, but it uses, again, mercury, which is toxic. Here's Ryan Snoddon once again talking about these mercury bulbs.
So if those lights were to break, that's a release of mercury, a small amount, but a release of mercury. We also have bans on mercury, so a lot of jurisdictions are looking into banning new mercury mines, winding down the use of mercury in products and processes because of its toxicity.
So again, toxic mercury, and it could be banned in the European Union soon. So this breakthrough, this development here at Dalhousie University is coming online just in time. Again, a homegrown solution to a global problem right here in Canada, right here in Halifax. Brett Ruskin, CBC News, Halifax.
Atlantic Lotto released its annual report this week, and profits are down slightly. According to the report, profits shared with the Atlantic provinces totaled $487 million this year. The group says it spent more on technology upgrades and other improvements, which cut into profits. It also says more needs to be done to stop the illegal gaming market. The CEO says things like online slot games and sports betting run by other operators are taking away revenues. Atlantic Lottery has spoken to government officials about their problem. For decades, a small literary publisher has been making waves in Nova Scotia's Annapolis Valley. Gasbro Press has published books that have won literary awards like the prestigious Giller Prize. But soon, things will be changing for the press. Andrew Lamb brings us that story.
After nearly 3 decades of printing and publishing, the co-founders of Gasbro Press say they're ready to step away from the press at the end of 2025. Gasbro is a small literary publisher based out of Kentville, Nova Scotia. Founded in 1997 by Gary Dunfield and Andrew Steeves, it's since become known for the design and the quality of its books. And it's made a mark on the literary world.
The foundation here with making books is to make books that are robust and are proper vehicles for the texts that they're, that are entrusted to their pages. Unlike most publishers, we actually do our own manufacturing here as well. So we actually do everything from the editorial, the design, the printing and the binding.
And while some may think of big cities like Toronto or Vancouver as a place to set up a publishing business, Gasbro Press chose a rural part of the Maritimes.
This notion that you have to go to some place special to be yourself, to build a community to make things is just silly. People need to be able to see that these things are possible. They don't just happen in faraway, important places.
Writers say Gasbro has developed an international reputation.
This press has brought a lot of pride to the region because they publish a lot of local authors. They do publish authors from elsewhere in Canada as well. But the press has won numerous awards, both for its design, the quality of its publications, as well as literary awards for the books themselves.
Whereas many small presses discover, find, and foster literary talent, emerging literary talent, who then gets scooped up by the big presses, Gasbro often went in the reverse direction and scooped up major authors publishing with big presses.
But the way Gasbro operates will likely change dramatically. In December 2025, the Gasbro Press name, its backlist, and trade publishing will be passed on to Keegan Hawthorne, the owner of a micropress in New Brunswick.
My partner in the business, Gary Denfield, wants to retire. And so when I looked it over, I decided that I wanted to get smaller as opposed to try to figure out how to keep running a company of this scale. And so it seemed like an opportunity to hand it along to the next generation.
Steve says retirement is a long ways away for him, though. He plans to continue on with designing and making books.
When you lift up the hood of human communication, what is running that machine underneath is all poetry. It's everything about how we relate to each other. And that's what keeps me turning the handle on the press.
Andrew Lamb, CBC News, Kentville.
Coming up, after losing his eye, this baby Puffin survived all odds thanks to the kindness of strangers. And Tina will be back next with full weather forecast. We'll see you in just a few minutes. Well, this next story is sure to tug at your heartstrings. It's about how one injured Newfoundland puffling survived against all odds and ended up in Quebec. The CBC's Carolyn Stokes has more.
Well, just off the beach here in Witless Bay is a natural wonder, a small island just out there, home to over 500,000 Atlantic puffins. And one of them, a baby puffin, a puffling, has landed itself a long way from home, safe in a Montreal sanctuary. Here's Uno, exploring her new home in the biodome for the first time. But how did she get here?
So this little guy was injured, but as soon as I saw him, I thought, oh boy. We didn't know if he was going to survive the night, really. His head was so swollen, his eye was shut. There was a lot of head trauma.
Often the puffins can be diverted, especially the young ones can be drawn to the lights in the communities along the coastline, and that can get them into trouble. Uno is blind in one eye. The injured puffin was brought to Karen Goss. Her Rock Wildlife Rescue Group is no stranger to saving birds.
She was with us over a month, for sure over a month. There was two ways this could have gone. We either helped her recover, her recover, and she was released again if she were sighted in that eye, or she was euthanized. And then the third option came in with the biodome. It was a bit nerve-wracking shipping her. When she was received in Montreal, we got the call that she was great, and then they'd go into her isolation unit up there, and veterinarians would make sure that she was health checked before she was released with the general population.
We're gonna take care of him, like, no matter what. We had to arrange a private transport for him by plane, and we had to get him at the airport. So a lot of people involved. Here at the biodome, there's a big group of technicians taking care of him every day.
She will live out a life that is amazing. Her freedom won't be lacking. She will be with other puffins. It's a perfect scenario, really.
Carolyn Stokes, CBC News, Witless Bay.
What a great story about that puffin. So cute.
I love it. It's amazing. I don't think I've ever seen one close up.
No.
And they're everywhere. We just have to
sure
look,
are.
right?
Yeah. And the weekend is good, though, for part of it.
I think so. I think it's depending on what you want. I think tomorrow is not as warm as what we saw last weekend, but we'll get some sunshine. We'll get back those southwesterly winds, and I think our temperatures will wind back up into the mid-teens. But we also have some cool air to, feel like fall again, I guess.
To be expected.
It really is. Take a look at some of the temperatures across the region. They're not too bad. It's still coming in the upper single digits, and we still holding on to a couple of double-digit temperatures, like in Halifax coming in at 10 degrees, as is Yarmouth. We have 9 in Parsbro, 8 right now in Antigonish, and 9 in Sydney, as well as in Ganesh Beach. And our winds, well, they're still brisk out of the north. And the further east you are in the mainland through to Cape Breton, those winds were howling through the better part of the day, and they still are for most in Cape Breton, especially where those northerly winds blow directly on shore. We're still seeing gusts anywhere from 60 to 80 kilometers per hour, whereas the western tip of Nova Scotia has hardly seen any wind all day. In fact, most of the winds have been 20, maybe at times gusting up to 40 kilometers per hour. And it's just depending on the proximity you are to this area of low pressure as it continues to work its way off towards the north and to the east. A lot of moisture with this system. The showers will be tapering off for Guysborough County, but we're still seeing a lot of scattered showers going on in Cape Breton County, stretching some back into Richmond County as well. But these are all starting to clear out. And you can see the back of the cloud deck. It's pushing its way through New Brunswick right now into the western tip of Nova Scotia, and that's generally going to be the trend for tonight, to start to see some clearing skies. So we're kind of in between two systems. One is departing, and it is a strong area of low pressure, and it was responsible for the wind and the rain. But another developing area of low pressure that contains some much cooler air is nestled into Quebec, and it will be traveling towards Labrador City, into Labrador. It's really being veered by this ridge of high pressure down to our south that will keep this at bay and keep the main energy energy north of the Maritimes, but it's going to get close enough that will give us a push of some cooler air, and it's also going to increase the cloud cover throughout the day on Saturday with those southwesterly winds picking back up again and bring back the chances for some scattered showers. Just a few scattered showers for tomorrow, and it's going to happen late in the day into Saturday night and then start to clear up. Then we get another push of some cooler air during the day on Sunday, where these northerly winds blow directly on shore through to Cape Breton. So Victoria, Inverness County, not only are we expecting some scattered showers, but we could see a few snow flurries above higher elevations. So that's in the way for Sunday night into Monday. In the meantime, for tomorrow, enjoy. The winds will calm down. They'll become more southwesterly throughout the day in Cape Breton. Temperatures ranging anywhere from 12 to 13 degrees, and sunshine is expected. But again, the clouds will be back and on the increase in the afternoon. We'll squeeze out some mid-teens tomorrow afternoon, around 15 for Truro, 14 for Halifax, where the southwesterly winds blow directly on shore. The temperatures will be slightly cooler, so warmer temperatures are expected inland, and the clouds will be a little bit thicker, especially in the morning and then again in the afternoon, but will be sandwiched in between some sunshine as well. Now, the temperatures are going to fall downhill as we head towards the end of the weekend. We'll hold on to temperatures in the teens. That should be 14 degrees for the high for tomorrow. And as we go through the next week or so, we're going to be seeing this temperatures up and down, a little bit of a roller coaster. On Sunday night into Monday, we do have those chances for scattered showers and above higher elevations like the Highlands. We could see a little bit of a mix going on, lots of clearing on Tuesday, and then as we head towards the trick-or-treaters on Thursday, it looks like things are going to warm up a little bit. Maybe a few showers in the morning, but slow clearing in the afternoon. So right now, it looks like good weather for all the trick-or-treaters. I don't think we're going to need our snowsuits as we go trick-or-treating to cover up the costumes. I think we're in pretty good shape, but we'll have to keep an eye on that forecast.
Yeah, that is some good news. All right, thanks for that, Tina.
Okay.
Coming up, will there be a fall election? We'll talk about the possibility with political scientist Tom Urbaniak. Premier Tim Houston is widely expected to call a provincial election this weekend. That is in spite of the fact a fixed election date was the first law his party passed after coming into power. For more on this, we're joined by CBU political science professor Tom Urbaniak. So Nova Scotia has a fixed election date of July 15th. Why do you think Tim Houston is looking to go to the polls now?
Yes, Tim Houston was very passionate when he introduced Bill 1 in October of 2021 about why Nova Scotia needs a fixed election date. He said it would level the playing field among political parties. He spoke from the heart about people's family circumstances, people who are caregivers and want to be political candidates. So he does have some questions to answer about why we're going into an election campaign now. I mean, the simple answer is the calculation looks good for the PCs at this moment in time. Tim Houston wants to run against Justin Trudeau. And so as long as Justin Trudeau is prime minister, Tim Houston calculates that that's a good time because many Nova Scotians are ascribing their grievances, their concerns about cost of living, their concerns about the future to Justin Trudeau's leadership. And so what Tim Houston will do is try to tie the Nova Scotia Liberals in with all of that. But the short answer is political opportunism. That's why we're having an election now.
Well, do you think he and his party will pay any kind of price for going early?
That's a very difficult question, Amy. We'll certainly only be talking about it extensively for about a day or two, and then other issues will take hold. But the opposition might have some traction with this if they can weave it into a general conversation about trust and leadership and reliability and being able to count on the government's word and being able to take seriously any promises that the PCs might make now. Historically, there have been different precedents for whether opportunistic early election calls make a difference or hurt the sitting government. The example that's often given for a sitting government that was punished by voters for an opportunistic early election call was the David Peterson Liberals in Ontario in 1990. Similar sort of situation, 3 years in, no real compelling immediate reason to go to the polls. And the voters remembered that on election day.
Now, the finance minister, Alan McMaster, he announced he's going to be seeking the nomination for the federal Conservatives. What do you think of that?
Yeah, we've had a few October surprises here, and I guess that's a sure sign of a Nova Scotia election. The week before, the 10 days before, musical chairs, all kinds of big announcements, Fred Tilley crossing the floor. Yeah, Alan McMaster. I wasn't expecting that. He will have a good chance, of course, of winning the federal nomination and being the federal Conservative candidate. He does have a significant following in his constituency. He is a very high profile provincial politician, and even had a high profile before getting into provincial politics. So this will mean some personality changes at the top, of course, but it does maybe give a little bit of an outside opportunity for the opposition parties to say to Nova Scotians, you might have concerns about Justin Trudeau, and we have nothing to do with Justin Trudeau, they'll insist. But to the extent that you have concerns with Pierre Poilievre and his style of leadership and the fact that he might be the candidate of cuts in the federal election and the fact that Nova Scotia might need someone to stand up against him if, as the polls seem to be suggesting right now, he ends up as prime minister, then do you really want the PCs leading the advocacy for Nova Scotia?
Now, you mentioned Fred Tilley crossing the floor to the Conservatives. How big a blow is that to the Liberals and their campaign strategy?
The Liberals do seem to have been caught genuinely by surprise by this announcement. There might have been some slight inkling that something was afoot when Fred Tilley announced that he was endorsing Cecil Clark for mayor of the Cape Breton Regional Municipality, and he even gave Cecil Clark credit for the Nova Scotia Community College campus being located, the new one in downtown Sydney, and becoming an anchor of the revitalization of downtown Sydney. The general political assumption was that that was an initiative that was conceived in the mind of Stephen McNeill, the former premier of Nova Scotia, and maybe CBRM didn't get in the way of it, but it's not something that CBRM was pushing for. Nonetheless, this was a surprise, Fred Tilley crossing the floor. He probably made a calculation that he had a better chance, as things now stand, of being elected as a PC. That area has a long PC history. Fred Tilley made a little bit of a breakthrough, even though the 2021 election was not successful for the Liberals in capturing that seat away from the PCs. But he must be looking at something showing, well, the PC history, the PC legacy still holds in that riding, and that he would have a better chance of getting reelected that way. But it will be interesting to see how all of this unfolds. The Liberals not only insisted on the fact that they were somehow betrayed, but now we learned that they've asked the RCMP to investigate an alleged data breach, access to confidential information about voters that was in the possession of the Liberal Party. And they've alleged that this happened on the initiative of MLA Tilley 24 hours before he changed parties. And surely he knew at that point that he was going to do that.
Well, it's shaping up to be an interesting race even before it starts. Tom Urbaniak, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Amy. And and just to say that Nova Scotia campaigns tend to be dynamic. So what we think is the defining issue on day one doesn't always end up being the defining issue. And poll numbers do move during Nova Scotia campaigns.
All right. Thanks again.
Thanks, Amy.
Coming up, Elon Musk's Get Out the Vote campaign. Donald Trump's biggest cheerleader has warned his controversial lottery could be illegal. Welcome back. The Israeli military continues strikes across Gaza. Palestinian officials say 72 people have died since last night. And in the enclave's north, Israeli troops are being accused of firing on a hospital and then raiding it. While in Lebanon, 3 journalists were killed by an Israeli airstrike. Crystal Gumansing reports.
The Committee to Protect Journalists is speaking out after an attack in southern Lebanon that led to the deaths of 3 members of the media and injured 3 others. The program director for the Committee to Protect Journalists put out a statement saying deliberately targeting journalists is a crime under international law. This attack must be independently investigated and the perpetrators must be held to account. Lebanon's information minister said it wasn't just 2 networks staying at this compound in southern Lebanon, but there were 7 different media outlets, according to him, based on a post on the social media platform X. The intensity of the attacks across Lebanon has continued, not only in the south, but a number of other locations. In terms of what happens next, the violence in Lebanon is one of the things that U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken addressed while in London, meeting with members of the Arab community.
We want to see civilians protected. We want to make sure that Lebanese armed forces are not caught in the crossfire.
Jordan's foreign minister, Aya Safadine, was also in one of those meetings with the U.S. Secretary of State. He, too, talked about the need for a ceasefire to take effect immediately.
Aggression in Lebanon has to stop immediately. Nothing justifies its continuation. Lebanon is ready to implement 1701. That will guarantee the security of all. My short answer is yes, it's got to stop now.
We do know that Hamas earlier in the day issued a statement to the news agency AFP saying that they had a willingness to come to the table for there to be a ceasefire. However, they said that their position has not changed, that Israel must stop all of the aggression in Gaza. They must withdraw troops in order for anything to go forward. American and Israeli officials are putting a lot of emphasis right now on these talks and, of course, hoping that those talks will also involve the release of the 101 hostages still believed to be held in Gaza. Crystal Gumansing, CBC News, London.
In a U.S. election campaign that's traveled unprecedented ground, billionaire Elon Musk's participation has drawn considerable attention. Today, the Wall Street Journal alleges he's in close and regular contact with Vladimir Putin. Yesterday, Musk had the attention of the U.S. Justice Department. Katie Simpson reports.
Tech billionaire Elon Musk is known for pushing boundaries. His latest venture, a $1 million lottery in election battleground states, is gaining popularity, but may also be illegal. The U.S. Department of Justice reportedly sending Musk a warning this unusual contest may violate federal law.
The reason that that's potentially illegal here is because there's a federal law that prohibits paying someone to vote or to register to vote.
The lottery is only open to registered voters, and they must live in a swing state. To enter, the voter must sign a petition supporting free speech and gun rights.
Every day from now until the election, we're giving out a $1 million prize.
But no winner was announced the day of the warning. This law professor says even though voters are not being paid directly, it's murky.
I think in this case, it's pretty clear what the intent is. It's to register new voters, as many as they can, likely to vote for Trump in this election.
The contest has attracted Trump supporters, with winners offering testimonials.
Hey, my name is John, and I came here to see Elon Musk and support Trump to be the next president.
Come on up here, Elon.
Musk is one of Trump's most powerful and enthusiastic supporters, pumping $75 million into his campaign.
Fight, fight, fight. Vote, vote, vote.
Thank you. They align ideologically, and both have histories of spreading misinformation. It's a bond Democrats love to mock.
Elon's on that stage, jumping around, skipping like a dipshit on these things. You know it. That guy is literally the richest man in the world, spending millions of dollars to help Donald Trump buy an election.
The Department of Justice may not do anything further. There are heightened sensitivities around perceptions of bias during elections, and Trump has already claimed the justice system has been weaponized against him. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Washington.
King Charles today addressed the harm caused by Europe's colonial conquests. He was speaking at the opening of the Commonwealth Summit in Samoa, where demands are expected to be raised for reparations for the British slave trade.
I understand from listening to people across the Commonwealth how the most painful aspects of our past continue to resonate. It is vital, therefore, that we understand our history to guide us to make the right choices in the future.
Britain's history in slavery lasted almost 200 years. It ended with a series of laws in the first part of the 19th century. Well, the ban on single-use plastic grocery bags saw a large-scale shift to reusable cloth bags. But amid growing complaints, some retailers are moving to paper. Sophia Harris looks at the potential problems with that shift.
Following complaints about reusable Walmart blue bags piling up in homes, the retailer is switching to paper bags.
So how many bags you got?
Probably about 20 bags from our last delivery here.
Walmart grocery delivery customer Steve Calarco has already collected hundreds of these. He recycles them, but feels this isn't the best move for the environment.
Probably 40% of the bags that I get have got some sort of a rip in them, so they're not going to be reusable.
Canada banned single-use plastic bags in 2022. As a result, some retailers are turning to single-use paper bags. Ontario's main liquor retailer, the LCBO, used to offer paper bags and will soon reintroduce them for customer convenience. Walmart says its bags are made with recycled content. Even so,
there's still unintended environmental consequences.
This environmental expert says recycled paper is better than plastic, which can contaminate the environment. Still, it's not a sustainable solution.
There's the energy costs during the pulp and paper making process, lots of chemicals and effluent-based emissions.
Plus, not every paper bag gets a second life. Environment Canada estimates only 55% of all paper waste is recycled.
That's not the closed loop that we envisioned.
The Yukon has banned both plastic and paper bags. The territory says trucking in paper bags from other regions is bad for the environment.
It's over 2,000 kilometers, and that's a big impact on the greenhouse gas emissions. And the paper bag is just another single-use item.
Some grocers provide bagless delivery by using reusable cardboard boxes or plastic bins.
I think that's a fantastic solution.
Walmart says it continues to explore more sustainable solutions. However, there are no federal rules preventing retailers from doling out paper bags. Sophia Harris, CBC News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index closed lower today, while U.S. stock markets ended with mixed results. Here's a look at how they did as we head to break. Okay, so the weekend has arrived, and it sounds like Saturday's the pick of the litter.
I think so. If you want some warmer temperatures and lighter winds, although the winds are going to be from the southwest, a little bit breezy, but not as breezy as what some of us experienced today and are still experiencing. Take a look at the radar, and I just want to show you what's going on. We've got this area of low pressure that mainly affected the eastern mainland right on through to Cape Breton, where we saw pockets of some heavy rain starting last night, and it continued today, and this system is slowly but surely working its way out. The back edge of the cloud deck, if you will, is now clearing western Nova Scotia as well as northern Nova Scotia. So our skies are going to clear out overnight tonight, and that's going to allow for the temperatures to really drop. We're going to get a little bit of a brush of some cooler air by tomorrow. Now, tomorrow afternoon, the clouds will be in and out of our skies, and we do have a piece of energy heading in our direction that may bring some sprinkles Saturday night into Sunday before the temperatures get too cold, and then another wave heads our way for Monday. So we're going to be talking about at least chances for showers as we go through the weekend. One tomorrow night, and then again Sunday night into Monday, and then Monday night into Tuesday. But look at the temperatures. They are going downhill as far as daytime highs are concerned, and certainly there's overnight lows when they're flirting with freezing.
Oh boy.
As we head towards next week.
Yeah, be prepared. Well, finally tonight, if you've ever wondered what a real dust devil is, here's your chance to find out. One of the tornado-like storms was captured on video in the United Arab Emirates. You can see it towering over a road where people were traveling. Dust devils are found in temperate and tropical regions around the world. They're created by strong surface heating and are generally smaller and less intense than a tornado. Still pretty impressive, though. Absolutely.
Very impressive. You still want to get out of the way.
Yep. That's it for us tonight. Thanks for watching and have a great weekend.
Bye-bye.